So I'd like to welcome everyone to In the Company of Charity, the podcast of the Daughters of Charity. And we today have a very special guest. Sister Liz Schoberg is with me as our co-host today. And hi, Sister Liz, how are you?
Hello. I'm very happy to be here and very excited for our guest today.
Yeah, we're excited because we're all together and we are interviewing the Superior General of the Congregation of the Mission and the Daughters of Charity, Father Tomaz Mavric. And so for those who are in the company, you know this is a really special interview. And so, Father Tomaz, we are so delighted that you could take the time to talk with us today.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be in touch with so many daughters and confreres, also through this media.
Yeah, so we do reach, we hope, a number of people, and throughout the 2 seasons of our podcast, we've talked a lot about the Daughters of Charity and about the Vincentian priests, Vincentian family, and trying to help people understand who all the players are, who's the structure, how does this thing work? And so as I think you are the 24th Superior General of the Congregation of the Mission. Tell us a little bit about how you became a Vincentian, certainly what it was like the day you were elected to be the Superior General. But let's start from the beginning. How did you become a Vincentian? What was your attraction to the charism?
My parents were refugees. They left the communist regime in that time Yugoslavia, but the country of Slovenia. And in 1945, they were 3 years in the refugee camp in Austria. And there with their families moved to Argentina because at that time was one of the countries that were accepting refugees and anyone who wanted to come. That's why both families, from my father's side, my mother's side, went to Argentina, and that's where they know each other. They married, and that's where 5 of us, they had 5 children. We are 5 brothers and sisters. The Vincentians also accompanied them. They were also, in fact, refugees. They came to Argentina, and they started to accompany the immigrants, the refugees in Argentina. They founded a school, they founded a parish, and in that school I joined when I was finishing my primary school, and then I did that, finish the last 3 years in primary school and high school. Our confreres had a boarding school. I stayed in the boarding school, and that's how I got to know them. I got to know the confreres who were in the missions agentes, especially in Madagascar, and they were coming to visit us, and all this brought a kind of inspiration, brought an invitation step by step to ask to join the congregation of the mission.
Is there a particular experience with the poor that helped you to realize, yes, this is for me?
As a child, I started to think. I was playing a priest when I was 6 years old. I was, my uncle brought me the host, and my mother made me a dress, a chasuble, put me a glass, of course not with wine but with water inside, and then a table, and then they sat around, and I was saying mass, 6 years old.
That's a fabulous story.
I started to go to the school ran by the Vincentians, and in the boarding school, yes, that was much more also concrete when I met different confreres coming from the missions to Argentina to visit us in the boarding school, talking to us about the missions agentes. Showing us pictures. Our director of the boarding school was very missionary oriented confrere, and we often saw movies from the third world, if we can call it that way, from poor countries, and all that. He was very much for us to be also directly engaged as in school with the people in need, with the poor. We were collecting newspapers, we were collecting things that then we could sell and get some income to send to the missions. Means all that. He was always in a spirit of being in touch with the poor. Again, all this step by step shaped, I believe, my call.
So I had seen in a letter you had written about that you have been looking for a 1% for missionaries from the congregation of the mission. And have you reached that goal? Is that the same 1% of the 3,000 Vincentians for the mission agentes?
You know, that was really in the year 2018, right, when Pope Francis announced the special missionary month of not just one day, one Sunday in October, but the whole month. And with that in mind, we also said, let's do all we can to bring to Pope Francis a concrete result, a concrete of this engagement, of this appeal to the missions. And it was a blessing. It was true. Yes, it happened that after a year we did reach the 1%. It means if we are around 3,000, we reached the number 30.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
We reached and we had the chance to talk with to meet the Holy Father, and said that we would like to put this as a challenge, and we asked for prayer. He himself made a small video message for us, and all that helped to bring that number really to reality.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's great. You know, so we were definitely wanted to know. I mean, here you were a young man and you were studying, learning about the Vincentians, becoming a priest, living your life as a priest, and one day you attend, a chapter of the Vincentians in Chicago, and you're named Superior General of the Congregation of the Mission. So jumping ahead, what was that day like?
It was first was that after the election, all the participants, all the delegates prayed over. It was a time of prayer. They all extended the hands and they blessed me. They asked for the Spirit to lead me the way He wants to lead me, to be of really at the service to the congregation, to the Daughters of Charity, to the Vincentian Family, to the poor, to all that we are sent to serve. That was a very, very emotional moment. Secondly, it's the way I answered. I remember again, and it was or it was this. I think it was the same day. The same day. The question was put to me. How do I feel now? How do I feel? Right. It was just about after a few moments of the election, and the answer came. I said, I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer because I'm just grateful that the way it is, that I feel the way it is now, because I don't. If I will go in one direction or the other, having two choices, said both will be wrong. In one direction, by saying, "Oh, now, you are named, superior general. It will be in me. It may develop proudness and sense of power, and that will be completely it's not to say wrong. It will completely. I mean, I will not do any good to Jesus. Also, the other way around. If I will feel now completely shocked, in a sense, afraid, and my legs will keep shaking. How I will handle this now? What is coming? And thinking, the responsibility I need to accept, or that I am accepting, or that I did accept, and I will be completely discouraged and in a state of shock. Again, it won't be God's way of thinking and trusting providence, trusting Jesus, and putting my service in His hands. It means I was grateful and thankful to Jesus that no one or the other did appear at that moment, did not. And I pray, I keep praying that this will not happen, either one or the other, but just be at the service, be at the service.
One of the things I personally appreciate about your communication over, these last years is your emphasis on prayer and the spiritual life. I know that most people know us for what we do, right? They know our charity, they know our works. But I think something that you've really emphasized specifically through the idea of St. Vincent as the mystic of charity, I think that is a really important point. And I'm wondering if maybe you can share with our listeners a little bit about, is that an idea that came up in your own prayer, or is that something that you heard along the way, or that you were talking with people about that aspect of, okay, Vincent de Paul, the saint of charity, of course, but he's also a mystic, a man of prayer? as well.
In years back, a confrere from Italy, he wrote and reflected on this theme. Then Father Hugh O'Donnell, that you know so well, really developed that theme even further, and it really attracted me very, very, very strongly. And I said, this in fact, it's something that I would like to keep developing in myself, to reflect, to pray, but by understanding Vincent de Paul as a mystic of charity. And then at the end, if I can discover more and more clearly that part in him, I said, then I am invited to become, to go in that direction. And we as members of the Vincentian family, we as confreres, we as you as Daughters of Charity and others, members of the Vincentian family, and all who are attracted at the end to the Vincentian spirit, the Vincentian charism, Vincentian spirituality. This is the way we can describe what a Vincentian is. When I especially with the young people, or with the seminarians, or persons in formation, in novitiate, seminary, up in the postulancy or aspirancy, different stages of formation, or the young people in general, I said, how would you think? How would we answer a question that can come up from a person stopping us on the street, knowing that we belong to a certain congregation, or to the Daughters of Charity, or the Congregation of the Mission, or other members of the Vincentian family, to put us this question: how could you, in a few words, or maybe a phrase, describe who a Vincentian is? Who a Vincentian is? Like, and I said, that young girl or man, young woman or man, it's not asking us for references, for books to read. No, it's asking you, it's asking me to right here and now answer who a Vincentian is. And I said, probably the more shorter the answer is, the more deeper that reflection was done. If we talk by half an hour, we can include many things, and all will be valid. But let's, if we get to a very brief description in a few words, and if hopefully in a phrase, that. And that's why I am invited over and over again to reflect on this brief phrase. A Vincentian, it's a mystic of charity.
I'm just truly grateful that you made a beautiful tie-in with how we witness to young people, and for me, and I know for Sister Elizabeth, we both have connections to working with vocations and working with young people, young adults who are thinking about God's call for them. And, I just wanted to say thank you, because that's a huge, I guess, thrust or priority for us, to make sure that not only we witness to our lives, but we witness to young people who are searching for a deeper meaning in their lives, and that service of Christ in the poor is very much tied up with the deeper meaning of life.
I like to separate it, the word spirituality and charism, because maybe at some point we may, with just saying our charism, we may make it a synonym of doing, of activities, of going out, right? And this is definitely our charism. It's definitely part of our charism. But as you mentioned before, the spirituality is the reason behind this, not just what we do and what we are, right? It's from what we are we then do and act. And that's why the mystic of charity can in us to be developed more and more. Is that the union with Jesus, with union with the mysteries of the incarnation, of the Holy Trinity, of the Eucharist, of Mary, of the providence, life of constant constant closeness and contact with Jesus, prayer. This all makes part of our spirituality, and but it's not to be celebrated just once a year on a feast of the Holy Trinity, on the feast of the Holy Eucharist, Corpus Christi, or the Incarnation, the Annunciation. It is to live it every day, to live the Trinity, our communities, to live the Incarnation in every meeting, encounter with the other person. And the more poor the person is, the more in need the person is, the more clear we can see the face of Jesus in that person. It is that, I think, that makes us, mold us into becoming a mystic of charity.
Yeah, I know, and you mentioned Father Hugh O'Donnell, and I know I remember when I was in the seminary and practicing apostolic reflection and thinking, there's the practice of it, there's the actual application of it in a dialogue or in a sharing in our house, but the daily call to look at the things that I do during the day, as you said, the charities I perform, or the things that as a daughter of charity I'm engaged in, but to take the time to say, where is Christ in this? To see the face of Christ in the poor, and then also the poor in Christ, to have that connection always on our minds, and to share that with the volunteers we work with, encouraging other members of the Vincentian family. I really loved what you said about not just seeing the charism separated from the spirituality, but that they really speak to one another, so that we have that opportunity to know that we're not just doing good works, but we're engaging in the body of Christ. We're engaging in works that bring Christ's kingdom about even more, and bring him more alive to us and in the people that we serve. So I really appreciate that, especially in your letters, calling us to that sense of spiritual direction and reconciliation, and realizing all of those things help us to find that Christ that we serve through those who are suffering in front of us. So I really appreciate that as well, and think, as Sister Liz was saying, that's not just attractive to young people, it's not just something that draws them, but that they're hungry for, that they're really seeking, and for us to really recognize that's the gift of the charism and the spirituality of St. Vincent as the mystic, is really been wonderful reflections, I think, for all of us in the family to read in your letters, and just bringing that out in the charism and in the family for us.
They are looking for spaces where they can find that the answers to that thirst and to that hunger. And it's I think we have a wonderful opportunity with this charism and spirituality. It's God's gift. It is a gift that we inherited, and a wonderful opportunity to share with young people the spirituality and the charism. It means not just and with the being, the doing. It is in fact also very much to us to show that it is to make a community of a place that the young people can come, and they will feel that kind of atmosphere, a spiritual atmosphere. They will feel this mystic unity with Jesus. They will which means with the poor, and then go into action to meet them on the streets.
I wanted to just shift a little bit, if we could. I wanted to ask you something about the FamVin Homeless Alliance. I know that the 13 House campaign is really kind of a quite a big endeavor. Again, I lived in Arkansas, in Little Rock, Arkansas, had left right before the opening of the first of the 13 houses in the campaign. So I was very excited about the idea that Arkansas would be the first place. You know, Arkansas is not exactly the most known state in the United States, but it is on the map because it is the first of the 13 houses campaign. So I just wanted to know if you could talk a little bit about that. And again, I think that's a great example of something from Vincent, something part of our history, part of our heritage that's been brought to a new place, a new endeavor, a new way to address just, you know, bringing the charism out, bringing the spirituality of Vincent to the fore, and to address an issue that has been around for many, many years, but to do it in a way that's new and exciting. So could you talk a little bit about those endeavors now and that project?
Yes, just how in fact it came about. It was in 2017, maybe, or a little earlier, to 2016 at the end, getting ready for the celebration of the 400th anniversary of the Vincentian charism, 400th anniversary. And we said in the Vincentian family, the leaders, as we meet every year, what can we do? How can we celebrate or one of the ways to celebrate the 400th anniversary of the Vincentian charism? And then we went around to say, let's bring up a project, an initiative that will bring about all the branches of the Vincentian family, and then looking what area will be to choose after a reflection. It was we visited the United Nations, we visited the European Parliament. I think Catholic Relief Services is possible. Yeah, possible. If in fact, we visited three kind of groups, entities, and after a reflection, we came about to say, this for us, this is now a priority, and that's how we came with to choose the homeless. And we put the title, the Vincentian Family Homeless Alliance. And that was launched officially during the symposium we had in Rome in 2017. In October, we presented to the Holy Father. It was the meeting in the St. Peter's Square, and we launched that initiative, the Vincentian Family Homeless Alliance, for the family, for all who like to participate. And that has different levels. It is, for one part, to now make a connection between the different branches of the Vincentian family, to get to know what is already being done in this area. And so much is already been done by years and years. But we need to know more what are the different branches doing, to be more informed. It means collecting data of different services to the homeless. When we speak about homeless, that was also something very important to from the beginning to describe, to analyze what homeless means. And even the United Nations did not have at the beginning this description. They need till recently, again by the initiative mainly of the Vincentian family, they took this theme to their one of their now laterly council meetings and encounters to start taking this more and more as one of the priorities at the level of the United Nations. And they came to the description that the homeless person, we have three groups that enter into this kind of description. The people that live on the streets, the people that are homeless, that refugees also don't have a home, and the people who live in shacks, live in not unhuman conditions. They all are homeless. Means that this project would like to include all of them and try to do our best to help all these three groups. Then the other area, it's one is collecting data, getting to know each other, and then be also advocating, right? Be advocating this on the different levels: national, local, national, and international. And that's why the United Nations now gathering in last month really gave a strong kind of move forward to the nations start tackling also this, acknowledging that this is a problem, that is a reality in our world, and that we need to tackle it systematically, logically, very to come to a solution. And besides inside the Vincentian family, collecting data, kind of encouraging to learn from each other how to help the homeless. We also we launched this, what you mentioned at the beginning, the 13 Houses project, right? And this, it's again to be very, not just kind of leaving it to maybe just the area of paperwork or data, and not just kind of campaigning or advocating, but also, of course, personally get involved in helping the homeless. It means in building houses, centers for the needy. And this initiative, why it's called 13 Houses project, 13 houses, it could be, the people may ask, why not 12 or why not 10, right? Why needs to be 13? Or we want 50. Yeah, but it's of course it's a symbolic number. It comes from Vincent's time. It is when Vincent, in his time, together with the Daughters of Charity, together with the ladies of charity, or the confraternities, they realized the need, the abandonment of the children. The children did not have their place to stay, really a place to live, to call home, and they together in collaboration, they built up 13 houses. And that's why it's this initiative, this project is called 13 Houses Project. And of course, now it's getting more and more developed. The idea is that in all the countries where the Vincentian family is present, we will have this project made a reality. We are now in 158 countries in the world. It is still a long way to go, but we are not far, I believe, not far from 50 countries that we are already making this a reality, the 13 Houses Project. That speaks, in some countries maybe 10 houses, it means different sizes houses, in some maybe 2, in some maybe 20 or more. But all to be involved, yes.
Yeah, I think it's a great project. Like I said, have not been involved at all really with the house in Arkansas, but I take a certain pride in knowing that Jericho Way, the homeless day center I worked in, was somewhat involved in bringing that about. And I think, when I hear about projects like this, and we just got information about the UN and the resolutions that they've been pushing for to get these definitions, and I think kind of going back to where we were talking about the doing and the being, the sense of the action that needs to be taken from the way that the Spirit moves us, sometimes can be daunting when you think about data collection. It's not the most exciting thing. Some people love it. It's not my particular thing. And I worked for DePaul USA for a while, and Chuck Levesque would get on me all the time about data. And he would say, it's not happening if you can't prove it. And on the other side, I would say, but they're sitting in front of me. I can prove it because I can see it. And I think, again, making those connections of what we're doing, who we're seeing, and how we're touching the lives of those who live in poverty, those who are displaced, those who have no place to belong in some way, having that be the impetus for this, as well as reaching back to a practice, to an action of St. Vincent, along with the daughters and the Vincentians, that pulls again that whole thing together. History is, before us and after us, that we pull those together, and charism lives in the present as well as in the past and the future. So yeah, I think it's a great project. I'm looking to see if maybe we could have a house up here in Utica too. So we'll keep working on that. We have enough people for sure. Yeah.
And it works both ways, and the best way, one way is inside, in a sense, connects the family, and the family in a narrower way, or in a wider way, the Vincentian family. Together, we to collaborate, to act together, and then the effectiveness. It's for sure more. It is bigger because as together we can be more effective in all ways.
Yeah, we could be like an army attacking
True.
and yeah, and bringing about change in a very powerful way.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just, I know we could be here all afternoon, and it's late where you are. It's a little later in the evening over there in Rome. But I guess I just wanted to reflect that, at least from an outsider, I'm very much an outsider as far as leadership in the community is concerned. But I wonder if you ever, when you look back at your life story, your childhood, and where you are now, you must see some kind of, well, obviously God's providence, but how that all came together for you of having this global vision. Because of being in these different countries, because of knowing what you know and meeting the people that you've met, it's just amazing to me, and it's a gift because you have something that's very spiritual, which can seem nebulous, or not concrete, but at the same time we have these different challenges that you've given to us, that are very, very concrete. And so I just think that's really amazing.
It is because of His mercy that I am alive. It's His mercy that I was past different stages. It was of His mercy that I was that the persons were patient, so patient, and with me, and that showed me so much support. I could be in completely different a different place, in a different stage, or maybe not be anymore alive. But that's why it is mercy that speaks to me.
Certainly for us, this is a time as a daughter of charity where we renew, remember, reinvigorate our commitment, our call to be of service to those who live in poverty, to be missionaries by nature. What would be one hope you have for us into the future, as we continue in this journey of spirit and charism?
The time this year for the Daughters of Charity, it's a special time. If we look also in the process that you are right now preparing for the General Assembly.
Yes.
In 2021, next year. And you did had your community house assemblies, now preparing for your provincial assemblies, or maybe at some parts of the world that others already had them. But all is towards the General Assembly is going to be in the Mother House as usually in Paris, in the really holy space where Mary appeared to Saint Catherine Labouré, the chapel of the apparitions. Means all that speaks. And I will see this renovation of the vows, as you do every year, to be very much linked to what in fact you were reflecting, and you will be reflecting, and you will be then deepening at the General Assembly your theme. Ephata, and goes toward to listen, to open, go towards, and I think it's a beautiful connection with the feast, with the Annunciation, with the Incarnation, the here and now, and I may just again invite too to take this also into your reflection. What St. Vincent, and not if I say St. Vincent, I at the same time will say Louise de Marillac, and then other saints and blessed of the Vincentian family, to the Incarnation as one essential part of being a mystic of charity, an essential part, and I think all that can deepen our who we are, who are we called to be, and what are we called to do.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
This has really been a gift. I feel so excited because I know how jealous everyone else will be that we got to talk to you and have you in this conversation. The fact that you would take time for two random Daughters of Charity from the US to come and talk to you, it's really special, and we appreciate you making the time, even though you have a very, very busy calendar. So it's been a real gift.
Yeah, I appreciate so much your reflections, and I think we get your letters and we see videos, and we can, because the geography sometimes is so big, it's hard to feel the intimacy of a family, and I think that this really helped me to have that feeling that while we can be very separate from one another in different worlds, in different countries, in different time zones, but that that we are connected through this call by God to be of service, to follow our, Father Vincent in the way of charity. And so I think it's just so helpful to bring that intimacy to the family. So I appreciate that so much.
Thank you. I would like to thank you, both of you sisters, for this invitation, for this opportunity.
This has been In the Company of Charity podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.